No clue what it does. Okay. Hi, everybody. Say hi, Sean.
Hey, we're here. We're
Yes,
live. Or
we
you're on the
are.
replay, and we're so pumped you're here, and we're talking about YouTube.
Yes, I'm so excited. So give me just a second. I'm going to share it in my group. But while I'm doing that, will you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
Absolutely. Well, yes, my name is Sean Cannell, and my passion is helping people build their influence with online video and YouTube. And I've been kind of in the video production space since 2002. I volunteered at my church youth ministry, and the youth pastor handed me a video camera, and I started making weekly video announcements. And Jessica, I don't want you to see those, and I don't want anybody to ever see those that is watching this right now, because they were terrible. But you know, everybody's got to start somewhere, and that's where I started in videos. So I started creating videos all the time. YouTube didn't even exist yet. And so then, you know, fast forward, I eventually was kind of self-taught. You know, I learned in that space. I was learning, and then eventually launched a media business called Clear Vision Media in 2009. My first YouTube video was actually for my church in 2007. So just 2 years after the platform started. And then eventually did a lot of different things, started a few different channels. And then today do YouTube full time and kind of a lifestyle entrepreneur, and help people build their influence, income, and impact with YouTube. And it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, that is so awesome. So I actually just recently realized that you did the church stuff. Somehow I think it was like a recommended video, watching one of your videos was maybe like a ministry conference that you spoke at. And so it was like, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So that's neat to know. So Conrad, we were getting a couple of questions, and Conrad is like, who doesn't know Sean? I agree. Like, if you don't know him, you should go follow him. There's that.
I appreciate that. Hey, Conrad.
Yes. Hey, Conrad. What are the names of your YouTube channels? Because I know you have a couple.
Yeah, so my main YouTube channel, that's basically my personal brand, is called Think Media. And on that channel, it's just the best tips and tools for helping people build their influence with online video, and tools being kind of a key thing there. I do a lot of camera reviews, helping with microphones, lighting, you know, the kind of video production side, or even tools for live streaming, live video, smartphone accessories, a lot of that content and some tips. And then the other channel is a collaboration kind of side hustle project with a friend of mine named Benji Travis. Him and his wife are well-established kind of YouTube quote unquote celebrities, millions of subscribers. But then we met together on that project. That's a weekly interview show with video influencers, and then tips that we share together. That's more on the heavy on the strategy side, not really on the tech side for that channel.
Yeah. So that's actually how I found you. Was I was looking for my next camera. So I wanted to know, like, I had like the standard DSLR, but the autofocus was really crappy. And so I was looking for something else. And one of your videos, I basically just went right then to Amazon through your affiliate link, I'm sure, and bought the Canon 70D. So there you go. You're welcome.
Sweet. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, happy to help as well. And, you know, on a real practical note, as you mentioned, yes, that was through my affiliate link. So thank you. I appreciate that. And that was actually how I originally went full time doing this. And so awesome. I was just doing YouTube on the side, and eventually, not through YouTube ads, not through anything else, just through affiliate marketing, was able to replace all other income just through Amazon alone. Wow. Because of the power of YouTube and affiliate marketing. But we could maybe talk about that later. But that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah,
no, that's really awesome. That's actually one of the questions I was going to ask, is like the different ways you make money off of YouTube, you specifically. Yeah. But before I get to that one, how did you, and you hit on it a little bit, but how did you get started like on YouTube and wanting to pursue it as a full-time gig?
Yeah, you know, I think that sometimes our passion or even our purpose is actually not as clear as it should be. And so for me, I was doing a lot of different things in life. As you mentioned, we talked about the church thing. I've been a pastor. I've been in youth ministry. I was the marketing director, so I did social media, and I did a lot of things. And it actually wasn't until a few years ago where I actually saw a theme in my life of video, and I saw the convergence of a few things. And I think that this is, for a lot of people, YouTube or not, the convergence of your passion, but also your proficiency, like what you're actually good at. And then also if you can profit from it, if you can find something that you're passionate about and you're very competent at it, you have like, you know, you're good. And then there's ways to monetize it. It's kind of in the center. And it was at the convergence of those things where I was like, okay, I do love video, but what I noticed, and this is really what did it for me, is I noticed at there's kind of this tipping point where I was like, what question do I get the most in social media? What question do I get the most? And so I was a pastor at the time, and I was realizing even being one, people weren't saying like, hey, can you help me with my marriage? And I'm
right.
surprised, because I was like, is my marriage bad or something? You know, like they weren't asking, they weren't like, hey, can you help me plan my finances? Hey, can you, but everyone would be like, hey, and I was doing some stuff on YouTube. It was coming in. So it was like this light bulb that probably should have turned on a lot earlier. But I was like, wow, this has definitely been a theme in my life, a passion. I've been doing it so long. I'm proficient around it, and I really could see it all kind of coming together. And it was a long process, actually. And eventually, though, I got kind of that moment of clarity. And I'll be honest, I think it's one of the big power tips online, you know, is niching down. Yes. And so prior to kind of going all in on video, my Twitter bio looked like a lot of people's Twitter bios that, in my opinion, could be very confusing. They're like, I'm an entrepreneur, mother, soccer enthusiast who, you know, plays guitar and helps people balance their checkbook.
Right.
And if an online, I really believe this, and I talk about this on YouTube, I really believe you have 5 seconds. If someone lands on a page online, for them to make a judgment. What is this channel about? What's this website about? What's this YouTube channel about? And if it's not clear and why does it matter to me in a few seconds, then it's not sticky. People just bounce, not because they're, you know, even putting the person down. It's just because it doesn't make sense. So when eventually I refine my messaging down, even in say my Twitter bio, and it just says I help people with online video, and like reverse engineered and mapped all my behaviors and actions around that, things exploded. And it was definitely timing in life, but I think also it's the lesson is clarity. Clarity is power. Focus is power. If you try to reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody.
Yes. I tell this to people all the time. Like, they'll be like, I'm a photographer, but I like to do this other thing and all this. And I love photography, and we live on a farm, and, you know, my husband's a pastor, so I could go that route. Like, yeah, no, you have to focus on the one thing. Sure, you can like photography and you can like all these other things, and they can be your hobby. Like, we're allowed to have hobbies. So yes, I think that's amazing. And Conrad said, thanks for saying niche the right way.
You're welcome, Conrad. I haven't always said it the right way, but if you put content on YouTube long enough, you definitely get feedback from people. Some positive, some constructive criticism, some just criticism. But it's all good if you learn from it. So niche is the correct way to.
It totally is, and I don't say it right. So, and I don't care.
Although it's always hard because in our space, right, online entrepreneurs and right now, one of the power principles is the riches are in the niches.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it doesn't work. The riches are in the niches. You need the rhyme. I sometimes say both.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Well, I talk about that, like being Southern, we would have cheers where the words in normal people land, they didn't rhyme. Like when I was a cheerleader, like those words were not supposed to rhyme, but because we say our I's funny and we say our A's funny, they rhymed. And we were like, you know what, let's just go with it. And I think if I said the word niche, it would sound very strange coming out of my face. Okay. So you got started that way, and I think that's awesome. So you just mentioned that you were able to like go full time with the affiliate marketing. And so banking off of that, did you just really focus in on like gear review and things like that you could link, and making sure everything was optimized where people were finding your videos and not someone else's? Or were you, just kind of plopping a ton of links in every video and hoping somebody clicked?
Great question. And it definitely is more number one. And I think where the light bulb moment turned on for me, and this is where it's really practical. It's a great time to be listening to this live or even on the replay as we are in summer. And I think YouTube is a practical way to make side income. So originally, I also didn't really view myself as much as a YouTuber, because what I was doing was I was more behind the scenes. I was doing, the strategy, the social media, the video production, and even like the channel optimization for other people, which was cool because I was learning getting a lot of experience, but I wasn't focusing as much on my own thing. But what I was doing, and in answer to your question, was where the light bulb turned on for me was when I discovered, what affiliate marketing was. And so if you're hearing about it for the first time, that's if you review this coffee mug, and this coffee mug's on Amazon, and then you just say there's a link in the description below, and someone clicks the link and goes and buys the coffee mug, you get a percentage of that sale. And when I discovered what that was, and then I started studying everything about YouTube to help other people. And you mentioned like if the video is specific and if it shows up in search. And that's where I think YouTube is one of the most powerful platforms ever, in my opinion, is because unlike other social media platforms, YouTube is a search engine. It's the second largest search engine in the world. So that means people are just asking questions there. And so your avatar, your ideal customer, they're asking questions, and they're doing it on Google and they're doing it on YouTube. But also, people are also looking for just random stuff. So for me, what I discovered was I was like, wait a minute, I can kind of find these search terms, and then I could see if there's any content around those search terms. And what I noticed was there just was not really anybody who knew this kind of stuff. So they weren't titling their videos right. They weren't doing their descriptions right. So some of my early videos were actually gift ideas videos. It's on my Sean Thinks channel. And what I would do is it'd be like gift ideas for him. And that video and a whole series around that's nearing about 1 million views. It's about 3 to 5 years old now. It still gets views. As we're talking, that video will probably get 50 views in an hour right now. What? Because it ranks in search. So when someone types in gift ideas for him, that video shows up. And then I'm like, hey, you want to shop for your boyfriend, your husband, your dad, your brothers, or just him in your life? Here's some ideas. And then the links are in the description below. And what I noticed was as I started doing those, I was like, wow, we're making like $5 a month. Wow, we're making like $50 a month. Now it's $500 a month. And we're still working full time. Just whenever I wanted to upload videos strategically, we would add more to the library. Sometimes it'd be like a more specific product review. And, that speaks to the intent of individuals, or it speaks to the reason it works is because of the intent of people searching. You mentioned, did you just put links everywhere and hope people click them? I did still always include in every YouTube description, here's the gear I shot this video with, because that's just low. Like if someone was curious, that's a chance to have them click on an affiliate link.
Oh, for sure.
However, I think where it really works is when it's reverse engineered to the intent of what the person's searching. So sometimes vloggers who just show their daily life, or if you're just talking about something unrelated and you put affiliate links in the description, well, people are not even necessarily, even if they click them, they might not be in a buying mood. They might not be thinking about that, but think about the intent, Jessica. If someone types in gift ideas for him, what are they about to do?
Yep. They're about to go buy.
They're about to buy something. Because, in that exact moment, they are actually looking for that thing. The same is true when you type in best camera for YouTube. As I began focusing a lot on tech and video gear, someone's about to buy a camera, and then you ended up buying a camera versus just linking your camera on a random video. You're not buying a camera every day of the week or even probably even yearly, but in the exact moment that you are, these ranked videos on YouTube can show up. And so I think it's such a huge PowerPoint. We talk about Facebook ads and we talk about Instagram. We talk about pushing content. We're trying to show up with someone's news feed and have them pay attention to our message. And so the nature of the conversation on a lot of other social media is interruption. We're interrupting people. Now, maybe they're pumped after they meet us, but nevertheless, to try to actually connect with somebody on Facebook, like that you've never met with Facebook ads or something, you're interrupting them and trying to get their attention. The powerful principle when it comes to YouTube is that it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Love that.
So when they type in their question, their search term, and you show up, Two, there's also no defenses up because like they came to you. It's like they showed up to your front door and said, hey, can you tell me more about, not only your tips and advice, but your products and your services? And so whether they're searching for a quick yoga exercise or how to, get better results in their email marketing or how to cook chicken on a barbecue or the best camera for YouTube, in the moment that person's they have a pain point, they have a question, they're searching for answers, you have the opportunity to be the teacher that shows up, helps them with information, and then you could drive whatever business or brand growth results that you want from there.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's a good point too, like you talking about your gift ideas. I think a lot of people I talk to, a lot of people in my audience are like, well, people are not searching for my content on YouTube. Okay, how would you think anybody searching for gift ideas on YouTube? You would think they're searching Google so that they're going to get the little shopping, things. But no, well, number one, it's probably coming up in Google. But number two, they are searching it in YouTube because it's still a very viewed video. So I think that's a really good point all on its own, is that the content, like, it's all good because it's a massive search engine. And if you're doing what you should be doing as far as keywords and all of that, then you're golden either way.
100%. And I would say a good action item for people is to write down what are the top 10 to 100 questions that your customers or your target audience is asking, or searches. And so whether, in the YouTube space, it could be makeup and beauty. So people look for this kind of smoky eye tutorial. Clearly, I don't know much about this because I'm drawing a blank. They're looking for, hairstyle advice, or they're looking for, again, how to grow their network marketing business. These are questions that people are looking for on, how to prospect, like everything. I mean, everything. That's the bottom line. Every single thing. And video itself is taking over. So YouTube is the second largest search engine, but video content is, Social Media Examiner did a study, is people's preferred content format of choice. We are driving or we're at the gym or we're walking and we can't always read, of course, and we want somebody to just show us through it rather than scrub through a blog post. A lot of times we'll look for how to fix something or how to install a plugin on your WordPress site or all these things. We want someone to show us in video. And so video is why people are looking for answers to their questions more and more, because people want video answers. And YouTube is what our mind naturally defaults to, where even things like, how do you fix your dishwasher? The other day, my pressure washer. Sure enough, there's a tutorial of how to get it started and get the oil changed on it. It's all on YouTube. And sometimes these videos will have 500,000 views, which at that point, we're even talking about real money in YouTube ads when you start getting those big views. Even if you're just sharing your answers, sharing practical advice, how-to information, there's a lot of opportunity there.
For sure. And Conrad is plugging your video ranking course in the comments, by the way, like, just so you know.
Thanks, Conrad.
That's awesome. And that's how we make money on YouTube. But so I'm going to give you a chicken versus egg kind of situation. I know that for the most part, your content is all driven on YouTube. So did you have your YouTube channel before you got a website and before you got all of this other stuff? Or did you kind of do that at the same time?
Yeah, YouTube was first. My website game has always been weak. And it's all right. SeanCannell.com. There's no reason to go there really because everything kind of lives on YouTube. I would say as an entrepreneurial foundational principle, we've also always been growing our email list. So where do we live? We live on YouTube. We have a website, but also that is sacred to us because that's how we connect with our tribe. No matter what YouTube's algorithm does or Facebook shuts down tomorrow or, that I think every entrepreneur should be building an email list because that's something you could go anywhere with and as people's attention shifts. So that's kind of been our focus.
Cool. And that's actually my next question. How do you grow your email list from YouTube?
That's a great question. I'm about to make a video on this, so it's really fresh. Number one, you pick a provider. So, if that's 101 for your tribe, your audience, but you got to pick a provider, MailChimp, GetResponse, ConvertKit, whatever. And I also tell people don't get sidelined there. Just make sure that you could always get your people out.
Right.
That's critical because you would never want to start with a provider that doesn't let you export your email list in case you want to move later. I started on MailChimp. Eventually, I learned that MailChimp was not very favorable to affiliate marketing. Super frustrating because it was actually my friend's course that was on ClickBank, and they're like, you can't ever send a ClickBank link no matter what. And I was like, I want to promote my friend's course, for him as an affiliate. So that's when I left. I went to GetResponse. Doesn't actually matter a ton, but you got to pick an email list, CRM. Customer relationship management. Anyways, besides all the tech speak, pick something and then create something cool to give away. I think you could always just say, hey, join our newsletter because we'll send you some cool stuff. But of course, it's always best practice to create something free to give away. We call them lead magnets or freemiums or freebies. And what I think though is so critical here is create something not only that's highly valuable, but that also very specifically segments who is actually on that list so you know how to communicate with them. So at this point, we have maybe 10 lead magnets. So one is about gear. One is about actual YouTube tips. I've got one on my other channel that's about like high performance, like personal development. So clearly that people who've signed up for the high performance one, if I'm like, hey, are you interested in camera information? Unsubscribe. Dude, what are you talking about? I signed up because I wanted tips about this specific thing. So the key is making sure that I think not only having it be provocative, interesting, something that people want to sign up for, but a free gift that also very clearly niches down that audience. And then number 3, you set up a landing page. Most of these CRMs will do that for you these days. They have that built in. So a simple landing page, a way for people to enter their name and email. And then I'm glad you asked this question because I believe that YouTube is one of the best ways to do it. From day one, when we launched Video Influencers, which is only about 2 years old, we had a free gift. And from the first video, we'd shoot the video, we'd share some tips, we'd ask a question of the day, and then we'd say, hey, so thanks so much for checking out this video. Definitely subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you got value. And if you haven't downloaded our free guide, it's 19 things to do every time you upload a YouTube video. It walks you through step by step. It's a checklist so that you can just do these things without thinking about it so that you can get more views, subscribers. So anyways, link to that's in the description below, as well as on the YouTube card. Until next time, Video Influencers help you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon. Jessica, you can see I've said that 7,436 times.
Totally.
But then you forever can give those calls to action in your videos. And if you're doing YouTube right, your videos, that's what's so cool about YouTube is content there has a longer lifespan than other social media. YouTube is your content library. Facebook is where you send out quick content, but it doesn't last very long.
Right.
Not a lot of people are watching YouTube videos from a year ago. You can't find them. It's always the now. But a lot of people are watching YouTube videos from a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if they rank in search. So that's why I love YouTube the most, because it has such a long lifespan. So what we did is we built up this library of videos. So then we're to a place where I think probably between 30 to 50 people are opting in every single day, whether we work that day or not, because of a library just on that one channel, just from Video Influencers. Whether we do anything because of ranked videos and they see the video and they get value. And then at the end of the video, we're like, hey, if you want to download this thing, you could do that. And so that's how I would use YouTube to grow an email list.
I love that. So my audience, anybody watching from my audience, I talk about the exact same thing, except I incorporate blogging in there. So every YouTube video I have has a blog post that goes along with it. So it's written instructions and then the blog post. And so there's a content upgrade or an opt-in or a freebie or whatever the crap we're calling it right now. And then they can just go through and grab that thing. And I create one very specific to whatever content I'm putting out. So I have some standard ones, like you were saying, like 19 things to do when you upload to YouTube. But for the most part, mine are like super specific to whatever content I'm putting out. So it's basically the same as a blog. It's just on YouTube. So I love that. Now, next question. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I'm going to skip around a little bit because I think this leads really well into this. So right now, you guys are, I know on Video Influencers, you're promoting a free training that you're doing, I don't know, maybe next week or something like that, but it's in your videos. Do you then turn that into evergreen content? Because as you said, people are going to find those videos. Or do you just let it go somewhere else? Or what do you do with that?
I have to acknowledge you of asking one of the smartest questions that I've ever been asked, because I do these podcast interviews. Because it's not super sophisticated, but it is intentional, forethought, and very strategic. And so that's a great question and a secret that I didn't know I was going to be sharing today. But I'll give you anything you want.
Sorry.
So number one, it would be awesome if you want to join us for this masterclass. It's happening at youtubeshortcuts.live. And you can register. And what you mentioned, though, is that presents a problem, because we currently now are rolling out videos that advertise that, links in the description, sometimes links on the video, or definitely links on the video, call to action, even verbally. I'll say, and hey, click the link, or you can just go to youtubeshortcuts.live, because I think those powerful, giving people multiple ways. Maybe they're driving, they're not going to be able to click, try to make it memorable, or maybe, and we have multiple call to actions leading up to this. We plan it out so that way we could put out a few of our regular scheduled videos that just have that call to action at the end, plus social media content, whatever else. So then the webinar ends. What do you do next? Well, the reason I love this is I think a huge mistake is because YouTube is so evergreen. To make a video that isn't evergreen is just missing out on opportunity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'll also go take it a level deeper to give you this strategy. Rather than even make just an ad, I also always want to add value in those YouTube videos. So what I mean is, if I'm like, hey guys, Sean here, I'm doing a webinar, sign up. That video doesn't really have value. It's like talking to your current subscribers, and that's great. But then after that, it has no value. So you might as well delete it, make it unlisted. And that's fine too. You could always do that. But what I try to do is I actually try to make like an actual valuable video with a strategic title that would be valuable and standalone on its own. So one that is from even last year now, or maybe 8 months ago, was like, is it too late to start YouTube? And that video has about 250,000 views now. It's an evergreen video. And I'm so glad, because especially if you're going to already be turning the lights on, getting your camera ready, like putting all the energy, why not create something that could have a longer lifespan? So then I share in that video. And then at the end of that one, I give a call to action to a different URL from a different webinar we did. But see, then what's cool about that is you can forever change what they see when they go there. So a couple things that'll happen. Number one, right now, it's a live webinar. People could sign up and join there. Then when it's over, though, this is probably what people will see, is it'll say, hey, it'll go to a different page and we'll say, hey, the webinar's over. Sorry you missed it. But the good news is we're going to be doing more trainings like this. And if you want, so you don't miss any, opt in on this page, but also opt in on this page, and we'll also send you some exclusive stuff that you can take action on right now. So then what'll happen is that all of these videos, and at this point, I probably have made 20 to 30 of these. So they're always driving traffic to this reverse engineered URL that I'll always know, like YouTube Shortcuts.live will always be some sort of YouTube training. Right. At least clear enough. So I probably won't take that list and then say, diet hacks. Like, again, that audience not interested. So then you could do that. And then eventually we could also flip the switch and send it to an instant replay page, or flip it over to the next one. So as soon as the next one's right, or as soon as the next one is live and is 10 days out or 14 days out, then all these people are watching videos that I forgot long ago about that are still ranking in search though and still driving traffic. They can click through and they're just seeing the most recent thing. And maybe it's a new name, maybe it's slightly different, but the URL still works. And so I think that is a very, smart way to build up kind of momentum, and then just a lot of traffic going someplace that you could pivot, replay, or hey, it's over, but opt in so you can get info about the next one, so that you're always growing your audience. My friend Sunny, says about YouTube, you get views while you snooze when you rank your videos. And that's what I love about YouTube. And that's then an intentional list growing strategy that you can partner with it.
Yeah, I love that. And so just to put that in perspective, I mean, a lot of people are doing evergreen webinars and, sending people to an evergreen webinar that it's teaching the same value. It's just you don't have the live comments. Some people pretend like you do. I don't like that. But some people, you don't have all that live interaction, but it's still training and they're still pitching at the end. Yep. So I love that, like, you have those options to just put a holding page and be like, hey, you know what? Put your name on a list. We'll let you know next time. Or go ahead and throw them into a Evergreen sales funnel. And then you've got, number one, you've got views while you snooze, but you've also got money while you snooze.
Exactly.
So I think it's all such a good strategy. And I'm glad you shared that, even though I took you a little bit off guard there.
That's cool. I'm happy. I love it.
It was something I thought of this morning when I watched your video, and I was like, I wonder if they throw that to an Evergreen webinar or what they do with that afterwards. So awesome. Okay. So if someone's watching right now, because I have a lot of followers who they want to be on YouTube, they want to incorporate video, and maybe they even are starting to do that, but they don't know how to actually get views. So the thing about it with me is I had a little bit of not that I have a huge YouTube channel, I don't at all, but I had a little bit of an audience that I could throw towards it already. So I have a podcast and, had a Facebook group that I could throw towards my YouTube channel. So if somebody doesn't have an audience at all, how are they going to start gaining subscribers?
So the first thing I'd want to tell that person is I'd want them to just be encouraged and reminded of this fact. 100% of people and 100% of any influencer that you look up to in any space started with zero.
Yes.
Everybody did. Every single person started with zero. And what's interesting is that sometimes we get a little bit confused about digital, like how did anybody grow their audience? How did Tony Robbins grow his audience? I mean, I'm not actually sure, but he started probably speaking for free at Chamber of Commerce, and he met 2 people, and then he paid for an ad in a magazine. You know what I mean? Like, It's always the hustle, the grind, the tenacity that you have to put in, because especially when you start from zero. So the first thing is I want people to be encouraged that if they feel like, whoa, this takes a lot of work, yeah. I mean, especially when you're at zero.
It does. Yeah.
It's a daunting thing. And so I'd want to really empathize and say, we've been there, but also to be encouraged. I was there. I started at zero. So what would I do if I was starting at zero? Well, the first thing is I would do everything I can. On YouTube, assuming they already know what they want to create, what they want to do, one of the most practical things that's cool about YouTube, though, that is an advantage, is that search is your friend. Mm-hmm. So, and actually, let's come back to that. Let's come to search in a second. So the first thing I would do, though, is like you start with your Facebook friends. Same thing in network marketing, too, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. Is like they say, hey, if you don't know thousands of people on social media, you do know 30 people who are not even on a fan page, they're on your friend page. You've got to just go one by one by one. And so start with your friends, let people know about what you're doing. And then, if you have 10 Twitter followers, maybe one will care, so tweet it out. Instagram. I mean, by all means necessary, not discounting that quite legitimately. Heather on my team and I were just looking at these physical events in Vegas, and we get about 15,000 new subscribers on Think Media per month. It's just growing at that rate right now. And I'm going to go to a YouTube meetup here in Vegas this Saturday, and it looks like there's going to be 7 people there. I mean,
is this a meetup that you put on and you're like,
no. I was just like, but this makes sense. It's my space. It's my industry.
Yeah.
But what's the point? The point is, and so people could say, well, and not even that this would be my mentality or anybody else's, but they could say, oh, you're too good for that, or you have to eventually change your whatever. And my answer is like, absolutely not. Like, no. Like it's everything. It's biz dev at conferences. It's privately messaging someone and saying like, hey, I think you'll be interested in this. It's but not doing it in a spammy way, doing it in an intentional way. It's the everyday, and we could definitely get into tactics. But the point is going there, I figure I'm going to network with people, help people. But because I'm a YouTube teacher, I should go where people are doing YouTube and add results in advance. Like, let's go there, help them with tips and so on. Who knows what will happen? Maybe they won't come and watch my channel. Maybe they will. I was just at VidCon meeting people in person. And so I kind of would just think the hustle by all means necessary. Social media, if you've got dollars, Facebook ads or any kind of paid traffic. And then collaborations, just like anything, just like we're doing right now, that's certainly something to kind of grow your audience. But the cool thing about YouTube, though, is because it's a search engine, as I said, coming back to that, is to look up and to be honest, obviously a plug, but to be honest, like we can't really get into this now and share my screen and everything, but on the masterclass next week, youtubeshortcuts.live, will be like screen showing how to do this. But if you come up with your terms, so let's say somebody's like trying to, maybe create a fitness product and they want to eventually sell that fitness product, or maybe they just build their brand and build their influence online. I'll give you one example that I just searched this last season. I was searching for videos. I typed in yoga for snowboarders.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was in snowboard season. And then most recently, I've been doing yoga for runners. So I type that in, and then I just do it in like right over here. So I watched it on this screen right here, and I sit right there. But people came up on the other side of those search terms, people I did not know. Now I know them, and now they're in my life, and that's then how things work. I maybe don't even subscribe at first, but I see them a couple more times. Then eventually I subscribe. This particular person with the yoga for runners, turns out she's got like a membership site, and she's got like digital products and stuff. And so who knows, in a couple of weeks, next thing you know, I'm sucked into her world. She's adding value. She's giving me results in advance on YouTube, which is so cool, right? Just adding a ton of value, helping people, getting them results first. So then like a transaction's like a no-brainer. And so with search, what are the top questions that would be relevant to growing your YouTube channel? If you have, you know what you want to do, what you're putting out there, and then putting out videos around that. What's cool is, again, I actually grew Think Media not because of collaborations, not because of this or that, but when I realized people were searching for what is the best camera for YouTube, or how do you get more YouTube views, or even things like how do you do a jump cut in Adobe Premiere. I started to look at the rabbit hole of this is important, not just directly related questions to your niche, but also adjacent topics. Yeah. So if you're teaching business, well, there's tons of different things. It could be productivity tips. It could be teamwork building tips. It could be how to actually get that WordPress plugin installed, because that's a felt need and pain point of business owners. How to connect PayPal to your WordPress account. And then at the end of the video, you're like, and hey, by the way, I normally don't really do videos like this, but I really share more strategic business advice. So if you're new here, subscribe, and just video by video, you just grow your audience. But what's cool about YouTube is it gives you that advantage of being a search engine. So you can get videos that rank in search. And let me just give you a practical example. So Heather, who's on my team, has a homeschool channel, and she homeschools her 2 kids. She just crossed 5,000 subscribers, and from scratch in just a few months has grown that many subscribers, and is also made a few $1,000s through brand deals. She was working with a curriculum company that they're reviewing the curriculum. It's what they're going through this year. So they got that for free. It's about $1,200, but then they got a couple grand on top of that. YouTube ads, affiliate marketing, and then putting out videos like day in the life for homeschooling, or like 5 homeschooling mistakes, or whatever. And then obviously she, has got a clear channel, a clear focus, and she started from zero. She didn't collaborate with anybody, a little bit of her social media, but she purely built it on the fact that she was discovering where there's no competition, or where there's white space, or where there's underserved topics and ideas on YouTube. And she put out content around that, just sharing her answers. And she's been doing great. And so here's 2 things, though. If someone's serious about starting a YouTube channel, the 2 things that you absolutely have to know is you need to know with clarity who is your target audience and what is your value proposition to that audience. If that is cloudy, it's tough to grow your influence on YouTube. You can do it, and maybe you have a big personality, and maybe you just grow things. But let's take Heather, for example. Her target audience is homeschool parents, mostly moms. And her value proposition is, I'm going to help you solve problems, go faster, get answers, overcome challenges. I'm going to help you with homeschool tips, advice, reviews, just everything homeschool. That's such a great niche. Tons of homeschool moms and tons of topics. And especially when you're in it, sometimes you think, oh, maybe only 10 video ideas. She can never exhaust all the different dimensions and aspects and subjects and ages. You know, she's living it. So they're 5 and then they're 6 and then they're 7, right? So they go through all these different layers. So yeah, so definitely defining who your target audience and your value proposition. Then it's easier for it to make sense, because if you ever promote yourself on social media, the missing ingredient for most people, and I think why they don't succeed or why they don't really connect at the deepest level, is they have not come up with a provocative reason and a strong why someone should go watch something. I see this all the time. They're like, I'm starting a new YouTube channel, go subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's no, like, why I started it, why you should like it. Yes.
And not only that, that's actually selfish. Like, hey, I am starting a YouTube channel. You go subscribe.
You should do that because I'm amazing.
Yeah. Well, you're super busy and you're like, okay, but like, as opposed to like imagine the difference being this. Are you frustrated with trying to figure out all the details that go into homeschooling your kids? Yeah. If so, I have a YouTube channel that will help you. It's not even I have a YouTube channel that will help you. That's the point. Help you get this result. That pivot could be life-changing. And I know for me, it's not something that was always super clear, but that's been huge. And then that way it's something that can really grow because people go, okay, this is right for me. I am interested in learning how to do yoga for running, you know, and so, yes, I do want to go check out. And yes, I would like to see more videos. So I'll subscribe, but basing it on the other person, who's your target audience and what's your value proposition to them? That'll take you to big places.
I love that. And I always use the example because that is the objection I hear the most is I don't have enough to create content around. Like I'm teaching this or I'm teaching that and I just don't have enough. And the example I always use is the manufacturer who makes like baby booties. They're not going to blog or YouTube about baby booties, right? They're going to create content around making baby food, cloth diapering, all of this stuff that moms or parents of children of that same age are going to want, and then they direct people to their product. So I think that's a huge point there is to like not feel, you said like go linear with it and not feel like you have to completely stay in your, like exactly what your business is about. As long as you're talking to the same people, it's all relevant anyway.
100%. That adjacent topics, that's where things really begin to open up. So yeah, even for me, I'm like, well, I've exhausted. How many more videos can I do about how to get YouTube views? But so one of the video ideas that I have coming up was actually how to make money during the summer on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a little bit, just like adjacent. That's actually pretty direct. But I was just going through some different video ideas. I'm going to do anything with Skillshare, the site coming up. And so, hey, as YouTubers, we also just need to be growing our skills, whether that is, and they have all these great courses in there. And so it can connect. You just have to make bridges to these adjacent topics. As you mentioned, if you're selling baby booties, well, just parenting in general, raising a family. There's so many things. And so then once you kind of get sucked into that world too, so sometimes it could start and it could be scary, but that's why I encourage people. You just start. And then what you find is like Alice discovered, the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And so we get to a place now, especially when we learn these tools, finding keywords, where we have Google Docs and there's too many video ideas. We have more video ideas that we could create, which is exciting though, especially when you start getting into adjacent topics.
For sure. Okay. So one last question, and it actually came in the comments while we've been live. So Kyle asked, how do I know whether to make a second channel or just add a new series on my existing channel?
That's such a good question, Kyle. And I think it's somewhat personal, although I think that focus is power. And it's hard enough to start a YouTube channel. So starting a second one could be even more daunting. And then you have two different things to manage, two different things to juggle. Now, when it's absolutely clear that you should start a second channel is if right now I do tech reviews and YouTube tips on Think Media. If I said, you know what, my mom was a nutritionist, she's a great cook, I'm changing everything. I'm going to start cooking tutorials. I'm going to start healthy, eating recipes and all these kind of things. And if I did that pivot on Think Media, it just is a death sentence like that. That would be not so a complete different brand. That would mean a different channel. Now, sometimes they could fit under the same umbrella, but that would be up for you to decide. The other thing is that I actually like to think of YouTube channels like two illustrations. Number one, like a TV network. Mm-hmm. So the reason you start a second channel is like, well, if things can go on Comedy Central because it's entertainment, it's comedy, and it just kind of fits under that broad umbrella, well, then your videos or your series are like shows, but the network has a cohesive brand. It's all comedy. But again, if all of a sudden it was Food Network content, well, that goes on an entirely different YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And the second illustration is like a magazine, where same kind of thing. I think for some YouTubers, they feel limited. How do I do a variety channel or something? And I like to say, well, think about Real Simple, the magazine. Strong brand, clear that it's kind of about homemaking and decor, but they have recipes in there. They've got decor in there, but it's under this cohesive brand because, or Success Magazine. If I start a channel around personal development, Success Magazine, I could interview people. I could review books. They talk about, they even talk about like activity trackers because fitness is part of success. So if your branding could be clear at like a global level, then you can decide, well, then you just do different shows that are underneath that brand. And so that's what I would recommend. I would actually urge people to do that instead of trying to start the Food Network and Comedy Central and run both. That's tough. But to keep it aligned and then to just make sure the messaging is tied in. So Kyle, I'm not sure what the other type of content would be, but some people wonder if they should start like a separate vlogging channel. And maybe, but another thing you could do is, one day a week, you have a different show. And not everybody watches every show on AMC. They love The Walking Dead, but they don't watch Comic Book Men. So people might love your tip videos, but they just won't watch your vlog videos, but that's okay. You just communicate still the value proposition of them. You can even advertise them on your other show. Hey, by the way, guys, on Fridays, I'm going to be kind of taking you behind the scenes. It's a little bit different. So if you don't want to see that stuff, don't worry, because every Tuesday I'm bringing you what you do expect and what you do want to see. And just kind of DJing your content under the umbrella of a cohesive brand, I think is the best strategy.
Okay, that's probably the best way I've heard a YouTube channel being explained. But duh, it's called a channel. So, I mean, there you go. You get the Smart Person Award for the day because that was awesome.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I hand those out on the regular. So, I don't know. You get a gold star. But to finish up, I would love for you to tell us just a little bit more because we didn't really talk about your training next week, like what you're diving into, what you're going to be teaching, and then plug that one more time and I'll let you go.
So next week or very soon, depending on when you're watching this, which by the way, if you're getting value out of this and you love Jessica, can you smash those thumbs up, those hearts? The wow face is my favorite one. Even on the replay, we need that wow face. But yeah, next week, Benji, co-founder of Video Influencers, and I are doing a masterclass, 3 shortcuts for growing your audience and your income on YouTube in 2017. It's a real step-by-step training. I'm always discouraged when I sign up for a webinar or masterclass and it doesn't have actionable, intense, training. This has that. This will be, it's meaty, step-by-step. And we're going to be talking about really the 3-step sequence needed for finding strategic video ideas and then getting those video ideas, deploying those on YouTube and then getting those to show up in search. And then we're also going to be talking about revenue. And so different ways to monetize YouTube content, which I think presents a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs. Maybe they already have a product and service built in. YouTube opens up doors for a lot of other revenue streams and a lot of other opportunities. So we're going to be covering all that plus live Q&A. So we'll be able to get right in with whatever people are going through, help them on kind of a personal level. So it's going to be a lot of fun. YouTube shortcuts.live.
Awesome. And it's actually across the screen right now. So yes, you guys can go sign up for that. And if anybody's watching the replay afterwards, Sean told you, go click it and see what you get, see what you end up with. So thank you so much for coming on here with me today, Sean. I am so excited. My audience was just ecstatic to have you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate what you're doing and how you're helping people, inspiring people. And so love to be a part of what you're doing. And thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys. Okay, so I'm hitting the